The title of my talk today is One Last Thing. One last thing. So, this concept of being your sanctuary, one of the things that is my sanctuary and has been for many, 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 many years is Dr. Ernest Holmes. When I don't know how old I was when I first heard the words of Ernest Holmes, but it was 1992, I believe. Is that when we came to LA? 1992. And I walked into a church. I had been going to Unity up to that point, and a friend of mine, Doug Carfrey, said, "Come to my church and listen to David Walker speak." And as soon as he started speaking, my heart expanded a little bit. I understood things that I didn't understand before. Even though I'd been in Unity for many years at that point, when I heard David speak, and I heard him speak these words of Ernest Holmes, something opened up inside of me. I became more aware. I think what I became more aware of mostly was my responsibility in creating my life. And that everything I had done up to that point was a culmination of the way I was using my mind, was a culmination of all of the beliefs I've held on to. And I started to tear those apart. What beliefs are serving me? What beliefs aren't serving me? And when I notice those things, and I'm sure, how many recognize this story even for themselves, hearing Science of Mind for the first time? Yeah, for most of us, we are like, okay, when this happened, things changed. Things did start to change in my life, and I start to look at things that kept recurring. How many of you still have things that are recurring in your life, and you still look at them and go, why is that still showing up? I still have that. Things still show up. I'm like, really? I am 71 years old. How could that still be showing up when I have been in this teaching for over 25 years? There is no one last thing. There's never going to be. And I was under a delusion that there was, that there were answers to everything. There are not answers to everything. There are questions to all of your answers. That's how this goes. You think you know, and you're okay with that. I know this. But then something comes along, and you have to say, do I really believe that? Does that really work? And for me, it means going back to my sanctuary, going back to Ernest Holmes. I mean, that's where I always end up going back to. I was speaking to Reverend Dr. Jonathan Zenz this week, and I told him what I was going to do on Sunday. He said, "Oh my God, I remembered those days back in NoHo when you used to do that like once or twice a year." And I haven't done it for a very long time, which is go back to Ernest Holmes, but be put on the spot to go back to Ernest Holmes. It's kind of called Stump the Minister. And what you all do is you throw out a page, and then you throw out a verse, a paragraph, and then I have to read the paragraph and tell you what he meant. Don't you love this part, Eric? Yeah. If I like what you chose. But today I'm going to make it a little different, because I'm giving you his seminal book, The Science of Mind, but then I'm also giving you the last thing he wrote, the seminar lectures. So you will get to choose one or the other, and I want to do both at some point. To pick a verse, I will read it, and then we will talk about what I read. And of course, I can't possibly know what it is you ask me to look up. Sanctuary. We are in a sanctuary. We're about to move from downstairs fully into this sanctuary. And as I was thinking about that this week, actually, as I was thinking about what it's going to take for the next 3 months to move everything into here and create this space, I started to realize how good I felt about this room and about this sanctuary, and that our entire center now will be a sanctuary. Not a sanctuary with a downstairs kitchen, not a sanctuary with a downstairs office, but a complete, one, all-inclusive sanctuary, that this space will be a sacred space to enter at all times. And I for one, I am really looking forward to knowing that every time I enter here. And I invite you to do the same thing. So, which book would you like me to start with? Well, you know what I should ask? Diana? Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay, so this book starts on page, because don't ask me like for page 3, because I'll read you the coming attractions. From 15 to 127. 15 to 127. Give me a page, Anthony.
111.
First of all, his name is Anthony, but that was good, David. What did you say?
111.
Let me do 111 first. 111. Very good. Okay, here we go. No. Okay, what was yours? Just kidding. 111. So, David, you can give me the paragraph. It's one or two? Two. Okay, I'm just going to read it. I knew Mrs. Curran, who wrote Patience. One time I was in a group of people watching her. She sat at a desk, pounding the typewriter and smoking one cigarette after another, perfectly conscious and objective. She had very little formal education, but was a very interesting person. She wrote a poem for each of us, and the one she wrote for me was called Jewels. It was done in the subconscious and was supposed to be dictated to her by a girl named Patience, who had lived in England about 400 years ago. Sometime later, a group of people went over to England to investigate this claim and found that there actually was such a place where she said she had lived. But I'm good with this. So, this whole section, in the beginning it says, any person who knows anything about phenomena such as past lives will not deny their existence. So that's a good, thank you, Diana. What do we teach about past lives? What do we teach about that kind of phenomena? You don't hear us talk about that up on this stage, maybe ever, but today's the day. So if we're looking at this from a quantum perspective, if there's just energy, wouldn't it seem odd that all the energy that makes up James Mellon right now in 2025 is the only energy that ever exists in this moment and in this time? Doesn't that seem odd? And if in the quantum field I am connected to everything, forward, backwards, up, down, all time and eternity, if it's all one thing, how could one thing turn into something that is separate and one thing in one time? I think that would be impossible. So it's interesting when you go back and look at things like that. Somebody comes up with a name and says, I feel like I lived in such and such a place at such and such a time, and then you go look at it and there's like a picture of a person from 300 years ago that looks just like you. Anybody have that happen? Yeah. So I'd actually believe that while I don't teach it, because I don't know enough about it to teach it, and I don't like to teach anything that I don't fully stand behind, I must say I've changed dramatically since I right? Wouldn't you say? Since I started this teaching, because I used to think if it wasn't in that book, I didn't stand behind it. Now I'm like, no idea, but it's making more and more sense. If I am the entire quantum field, then I am Jesus, I am Buddha, I am the woman in Afghanistan, I am an ICE agent. Sorry, you got to go everywhere. You can't be particular. You can't say I'm one thing but not another if you're saying you're all things. So that's the answer to that question. Okay, then I'm going to go to the other book. Okay, Doug, give me a page. You know, there's 7,000 pages. No, I'm kidding. This one, you can go from page... No, that's page 25. 25 through... I'm not doing the poems. 25 through 504. Just pick a number. Don't try to dictate. 50. An age I remember well. 50. Well, there's only 2 paragraphs. 1 or 2? Who said 2? Lily, this is Doug's turn. 2? Okay, good. Okay, this is a paragraph called No Limit to Thought. When we think, something happens to thought. The field through which thought operates is infinite. There is no reason to doubt it. No matter how it is approached, to thought there can be no limit. So we will say that it is the nature of being to react in this way. Here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? You even know the book. All of it. Caps and exclamation point. And how much of it may we have to use? Close. What? As much as we what? What else? What other word might it be? What? Who said it? Thank you. Well, you should say it. You're teaching this right now. Yes. How much of this may we have to use? As much of it as we can embody. This is what's important about this quote. It's not as much as you can understand. It's not as much as you can know. It's not even as much as you can believe in one sense. Because you believe a lot of stuff, right? So how much of this good, how much of this first of all, we are the quantum field of pure creativity. That's all the quantum field is. It's energy, and it's always creating, always creating, always creating. Even when you think you're not creating, it's creating through you by not creating. That's kind of what Ernest Holmes says somewhere in this book. So when he says here, how much of it, how much of this good do we have to use? As much as we know, believe, and why he says embody means you go beyond thinking. You go even beyond feeling. You go to a place of being it. Deepak Chopra, I read this quote the other day. It said, you do not get what you want. You get who you are. Just think about that. That's the same thing he's saying here. You don't get something because you understand how to get it. Haven't you had that experience? Where you've thought you knew exactly how to get something and you don't get it? Because you're not, I always say, you're not equal to it. No, because you haven't embodied it. Because you aren't it. You know when you get success? When you are success. When you walk as success. When you live as success. When you think as success. When you breathe as success. You know when you get love? All people that are looking for relationships and soulmates. You know when you get that? When you are that. As opposed to someone who's out looking for something to complete them. Or someone who's looking for something to help them realize who they are. No, when you know who you are, you speak your word is manifest. That's what he's saying here. And that last word is really important. As much of it as we can embody. So, what do you want to embody? I mean, in this month of blessings, we get it. I get it. I get it. There's so many blessings out there. Then why aren't they all mine? Why aren't they all part of my realization? Why don't I have billions of dollars to do the most magnificent things with? Why don't I? Because there are people that do. And whether you like what they're doing with their money or not, what they are doing with that money, they're doing with it because they are it. That's not a question to them. They know who they are. So really, it's all an issue for all of us about remember who you are and then embody it, live from it, live as it. Good one. That was great. Thank you, Doug. That was really a good one. Okay. One more in seminar and then one more of this. You know what? Why don't you ask me? Give me a page. Yeah.
21.
Who remembers turning 21? Yeah, oh, of course you do. What are you, 25? Great. Okay, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I don't, yeah, no. David, you can give it to me. 3. Oh, great. Plotinus said, or as Stephen Sondheim says, Plotinus, because he had to rhyme it with monotonous. It's true. Plotinus, monotonous. Do you all remember that song? Yeah, because you don't know that show. Okay. Plotinus said that whenever any organ of our body seems to lose its connection with its pattern over yonder and is in pain, its whole longing is to get back to its pattern that it may be made whole. Fascinating, isn't it? Not done. No, it seems like I'm done, but I'm not. Okay. Jesus said to seek first this pattern of the kingdom which is written all things. Every one of these schools taught what the ancient intuition perceived and now modern science is proving. Psychosomatic medicine is proving it in every way. So, I'm not going to ask in this room who's having medical issues. Obviously, I had a heart attack, so I have my own heart issues to pay attention to. But I will tell you that just reading this instantly makes me feel better. You know why? Because I realize and I remember that my heart has a pattern that is in the divine nature of things, a perfection that it already is. It's who I am. It's what I am. And we as practitioners, all the practitioners in the room, our job is to know the truth about something. I mean, that's what we do. So here's the thing, though. As a practitioner, I can sit with you and you can come to me, Amy, come to me with something. And I'm talking about the perfection of it. It's true. It's who we are. We are that perfection. I am a perfect heart, a perfect lung. Did you hear a perfect lung? Way down here. Perfect lungs, perfect gallbladder, perfect everything, perfect brain, perfect nervous system, right? All of it. I am all of that. And yet there are moments I step away from that perfect pattern and start to listen to and believe the physical things that the physical world is showing me or saying to me. Yesterday, I was talking with someone in Palm Springs, and we were talking about running. And I said, I'm going to start running again. I want to work my way up to like being able to run like 10 miles. And this person looked at me and went, how old are you? And I said, and the funny thing was, I think he thought I was younger. I said, I'm 71. He went, what? I said, I'm 71. He goes, oh, well, then you're not going to be doing that. And I said, well, how old are you? And he said, well, I'm 68. I said, well, you are not going to be doing that. And he said, no, I'm not going to try. I said, no, you're not going to be doing that because you think you can't. I said, but I am going to be doing that because I know I can. I don't even just think I can. I know I can. I didn't say I was going to run fast. I just said I was going to run. You know, it could be just this. But 10 miles of that, right? Exactly. Start there and then get to it. Right, Brad? Yes. Yes. Wasn't that a good point for you? You know, because you do know. Well, and then the Camino. For instance, I said, Kevin and I have always wanted to do the Camino. And someone said to me, literally said to me, I think you missed that point in your life. I was like, no, I didn't. Because I have a friend whose mother and grandmother just did the Camino. And she is like 88. What? Camino, potato. So, right. So, this is a rough day for my English. Yeah. So... So it's all boils down to, as he said, and by the way, this is called the science of prayer. So it all boils down to, I love this, whenever any organ of our body seems to lose its connection with its pattern and is in pain, its whole longing is to get back to its pattern. What if we started thinking of every time you had a pain, every time you had anything that was going on in your body, you recognized and realized, wait, it's just something reaching out to me saying, go back to the truth. Go back to that pattern, that divine pattern that cannot be ruined or diminished in any way, shape, or form. What if that was our go-to? What if that's how we thought about it, as opposed to, oh my God, I have 3 months to live. I mean, people go really crazy in those things. I mean, it's instant. You know, I have a pain in my toe, must be cancer. I mean, that's where people go to. It's amazing to watch that. So, you all done with that? Well, that was like weak. But we need to be all done with that. Does everyone in this room know that they have a 100% perfect divine pattern of who they are? Yes. Right? All you have to do is get there. Come back to there, which is what he's saying here. So thank you for that. Okay. Janet.
Yes.
Janet is our New Thought Catholic. This is not the missal, just so you know.
Okay.
Give me a page.
I can't say like a James, there's no kind of James to...
There is a James in here, actually.
I'm going to
but
go with page 55, and if there's chapters on it, can I get a chapter 5?
And that's because of Nora.
Of course it is.
Thank you. Yes, for those of you who don't know, yesterday was Nora's transition day. And Kevin surprised me. It's good, I can pretend to be looking for pages. Kevin surprised me because he brought some of Nora's ashes to our new home. And we could put them in the new giant tree that's in that home. So that was beautiful. Okay.
Are there 5 chapters?
There are. No, there's 5 verses. Paragraphs. James, verse 2, chapter 3. Yes, no. 2, 3, 4. There is. I have to go over to 56 to finish it, but I will. Of all the people in the world, the ones who have come the nearest to touching the seamless garment of truth have been the most sympathetic and the greatest lovers of the race. Jesus said, "And I, if I be lifted up, not dragged down, will draw all men unto me." Well, I think it's pretty interesting, Janet, that you picked that paragraph out of this whole book, given where we're living right now, given the climate of our world right now. Of all the people in the world, the ones who have come the nearest to touching the seamless garment of truth have been the most sympathetic and the greatest lovers of all races. All races. And I, if I be lifted up, will draw all men unto me. And by the way, that's John chapter 12, verse 32. Only you would pick the only Catholic thing in this entire book. Yes. And you're sitting next to our other Catholic right here. Yes. It's like you guys gravitate to one another. So, wow. Do you know how blessed you are if you are living this, to live in the world right now? Because this is not found in our world right now very often. Love only. I think our world right now is more love only those that you think are worthy of your love, right? Forgive everything. Forgive, but don't forget. And remember who you are, and unfortunately right now it's remember who they are. So this quote is perfect to end with, because in terms of blessings, we are so blessed to live in a philosophy that requires us to see everyone as equal, to see every person on this planet as God, as greatness on demand, regardless of how they're using it. We are part of a philosophy of a spiritual center that teaches love only, period. Love only. Not love only those that you are like, but love all and love only. I was telling Janet on my way over here a story that I saw on Instagram, a video I saw of an immigrant yesterday who was taken away. And it touched me so deeply because she had a baby in her arms, and they took the baby and took her away, gave the baby to the baby's father. And while that sounds saying something that seems depressing. You know what? We need to look at the world we're living in and be willing to say, that's not okay. Because as it says in that quote, I love all people, and I must be a champion to all people. And it's not political at all. It's human. It's divinely human. It's about decency and love. And so the only way we can be a part of this and part of this philosophy, and so grateful that I found Science of Mind all those years ago, is to soften your hearts and do something. Speak your words. Let people know that's not okay. It is not okay to treat anyone like that. Sure, due process, yes. Make people pay for what they did in an honest, loving way, yes. I get all of that. But there has to be this at the bottom of all of it. And frankly, it's a blessing to come from that place, to know that that's the way you bless the world, by loving only and seeing everyone. And that means everyone. I said ICE agents before. This video showed an ICE agent crying behind the one person that was arresting her, showed this woman, ICE agent, crying and turning to the husband saying, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say to you. So it's all of them. It's everyone, no matter who it is. So thank you for letting me reach into my sanctuary and show you how that works. Do it. Grab the book. Just flip it open and point to something and read it and make sense out of it. Because I guarantee you, it will take you to a very, very blessed place and remind you of who you are. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.